The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Dino Luzzi energy drink. Yeah, it's that good.
He has not gotten a suspended.
No, interesting story.
I will not get you suspended. I can if you want me to. But...
No, please don't. What? I said so far she hasn't gotten us suspended. Would you talk to Missy Hyatt? No.
No, I actually got arrested for the first time about a month ago. First time in my whole life I got arrested.
What did you do?
I don't know how, well, I don't think they'll come out, but
it's coming out
we had
right now. What do you mean?
Well, because I've got a no contact order, so I don't know how much I can.
Oh, okay.
But we had some neighbors move in, and we're like out in the country, and really nice little area that, I mean, it's beautiful where we live. These people moved in, and all of a sudden they start getting animals. And they get a lot of animals for a 1 acre plot of land. They have like donkeys, burros, turkeys, ducks, geese, 15 dogs, 13 people living in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, and their animals kept getting out. So in August, their donkeys, burros, goats, pigs are walking across my front yard. Now there's almost 1.5 acres between our property. So I get a rope, I round them out, and I take them back over there, and I'm yelling at them to come get their animals, and we argued back and forth, and the woman said, I need a rope. How do you expect me to get my animals if I don't have a rope? Well, I had like a rope in my hand, and I tossed it to her. And so I told them they had a half hour to get their animals off my property, or I was going to come back and shoot everything. And I went back over, and everything was cleaned up, so we were good. So I was talking with my husband, like, what are we going to do about this? You know, because they don't know where their land is at. They didn't have their land surveyed, so they know exactly where their property lines are. They think that because there's no leash law, they can just, if their animals get out, oh, well, my animals got out. And so I went down to the magistrate to see what I should do, and he said that I should get a no-contact order, but because it was Sunday, I'd have to go back Monday to go to court. Fine, I'll go back Monday. Well, as I'm leaving the magistrate, my phone rings, and I answer it, and it's the Lenore Police Department, and they were wanting to know where I was, and I told them I'm like right out front of the magistrate's office. And he says, just stay right there. He says, I've got a warrant for your arrest. They've taken it out. Your neighbors have taken it out because you threatened them and you assaulted the woman. Okay, there was 20 of them and one of me. And yeah, I'm not. So
well, you are baby doll.
And yeah, well, okay.
Yes.
I've got another story on that one. That was good.
Yeah.
So I said, I've got my 7-year-old with me. I said, what am I supposed to do if you're going to arrest me? He says, you have nothing on your record. He said, you're one of the few 60-year-old people that I know that has nothing on the record. If we'll do a promise to appear, we'll just have you sign it and then you can go. I said, do you promise? And because I've got little Ryder with me, and he said, nope. He says, if we can work it out, he said, that's all we'll have to do. So on that Sunday morning, they arrested me, which I'd signed the paper, and then I had to show up for the assault, which is still ongoing. And then Monday, I went for the no contact order, and then I had to come back the following week to follow up because they had to actually file against the neighbors to let them know that there was a no contact order. So I'm in front of the judge, and I've got all the pictures of all their animals, and I actually shot their dog back in April, and it was just a whole thing. So I'm trying to talk to the judge, and he says, so you shot their dog? And I explained to him that I was like doing laundry, and I heard my turkey in distress like outside the window, and I looked out, and there was this huge dog on my 70-pound turkey. He's just wallowing him and attacking him, and the turkey's trying to get away. So I yelled out, and nothing happened, so I grabbed a pistol, and I went out to the side of the house, and the dog had moved over to one of the dogs and was like nose to nose going to fight with my dog. And my dog's on a chain, so he doesn't have a chance. So I was yelling to go away, get off my property, and dogs not paying attention to me. So I shot twice in the ground, didn't phase anything. So I shot the dog, and I shot it in the paw, and I guess it thought like my dog had attacked it. So now they start fighting, and I'm not going to go up there and separate the dog. So I shot twice, and I hit it, and it ran away. So the judge said, well, where were you standing when you shot the dog? I said, I was standing right next to the wrestling ring. And he said, well, how far away were you from the dogs that were fighting? I said, probably like 30, 35, maybe 40 feet. And he was like, wait, you have a wrestling ring in your backyard? I was like, yes. And now I'm thinking, oh, okay. So, you have a wrestling ring? And I said, yes, sir. I said, my husband and I are both professional wrestlers. I said, we have a ring set up in the backyard. Oh, I see. And he says, well, I remember when wrestling was wrestling. And in my mind, I'm going, oh, this is going to go bad. Because everybody starts going in with wrestling is fake and it's the whole thing. And
If
I
he
thought
fingers you for turning on Dusty Rhodes, you're in big trouble.
so,
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I'm thinking in
could.
my head like, oh gosh, this is going to go bad.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I remember like Dusty Rhodes and Tully Blanchard
There it
and
is.
Ric Flair. And I said, oh yeah. I said, I
boy.
remember them. And he said, you were a wrestler? And I said, well, I was more of a valet. I said, I didn't wrestle. I was a valet. Oh, you mean like Baby Doll and Miss Elizabeth?
Oh my God.
I said, hello, I'm Baby Doll. Glad to meet you. And he says, well, I can't shake your hand. And I said, okay, I understand. And he got really quiet. And then his hands, he was holding the papers and his hands like shook.
Mm.
And I'm like out of the corner of my eye, like watching. And he says, I was going to be the fifth horseman. Oh my God. And I was like, I can see that. I agree. You can do that. And he says, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this case. He said, I'd like to help y'all with this situation, but he says, I cannot judge this fairly. He said, you'll have to come back next week. So he signed off, and I had to come back and get another judge. Yeah, but the judge actually says, I was going to be the fifth horseman. And then I came to court the following week.
Well,
and
wait, 1 second. Are you laughing inside at this point? Like,
the
okay,
courtroom erupted. It was so funny. And you have to be in composure.
Yeah,
and
right, yeah.
I've been coached like by my daughter because I've never had to go to court except for like with traffic tickets and things like that. So I really, okay, what do I do? It's like, okay. So then I came back the following Monday, and I had to do all the paperwork and everything. And that judge had put us on a 90-day, be good, and we'll see what happens. So I'm fuming because I've got all this stuff, what they've done, and they've threatened my life. They've threatened my husband's life. They sent horrible Facebook messages that they're going to kill me and all my chickens in the middle of the night. And yet the judge wants us to be nice for 90 days. So I'm not real happy. The bailiff calls me over there and he says, remember the judge last week? And I was like, yeah. He says, he wants you to sign this. He says, he can't meet with you because of the case, but could you sign this for him? So he had a picture for me to sign.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
So now I have to go Monday for the no contact order. And I've got all the pictures of their dogs on our property during the past 90 days. And I'm not quite sure what the judge will do, but it's kind of like just, if you've got property, stay on your property. It's just...
It should be simple enough.
Yeah, but in North Carolina, they can have as many animals as they want to on that little 1 acre piece of land. It's it really looks horrible over there now. They've been burning furniture, and it's it's not a good neighbor. It's not a good part right now.
So let me ask you about your husband. You said your husband